Your situation seems really, really difficult, Marilyn.
Yeah, and I think another issue is that I mean, I could blame it on being drunk that night, but I went back the next day when I was sober and saw him again. And I realized that I really like him and I want to be with him, but I know I'm married and I love my children. I don't want to lose them, but I do want to continue to see Jake.
Yeah, that's a really tough situation. What do you think it is that drives you, that gives you this desire to continue to see Jake despite your marriage?
Well, I feel like he treats me in a way that my husband hasn't.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a really rocky relationship the past couple of years, and I feel very seen by Jake. He's very complimentary of me and very kind, and I enjoy being around him. He makes me happy. Whereas with my husband, I feel like we're just struggling to hold everything together for the kids.
Yeah, that's really challenging. I'm sorry to hear that, Marilyn. I'm sure there's a lot of confusion that goes with that. It seems like you're really struggling to find your place with both of these men, as well as bringing your children into that factor. So I completely understand. So tell me a little bit more of why you feel it would be beneficial to pursue a relationship with Jake rather than communicate with your husband.
I just feel like there's so much baggage that goes into me and my husband's relationship. I feel like it's so broken that it would take so much work to fix it, and I don't feel the desire or want to continue to work on it. I feel like we've just had a lot of fights and falling out, and it's just kind of sorry. It's been a lot. The only thing that would really keep us together at this point is the children, but I don't want to be unhappy until they go off to college, you know?
Yeah, that's really challenging.
Hmm.
So it sounds like you don't feel that you should be fulfilling your needs with your husband until your children are grown and a little bit more independent.
Hmm.
I understand that. How do you think your husband might react to hearing something like this?
Well, I don't know if I necessarily want to tell him. Um, I feel like he gets very angry, and normally, even with the little things, it's my fault and there's a lot of blame. So I feel like since this is such a big thing, he's going to blow up. And not only for my sake, but also my children. I don't want them to have to see that. I know they're very young, but I don't know how that could impact them later on the line or if they'll even remember it. But I don't want that situation to come about.
Yeah, your concern for your children is very clear. It's very, very evident that your children are your priority. And I know that was something that we actually talked about in previous sessions. You need to feel as though you're being a good mother. And I think that you seem to have made some progress toward that. So that's something to be very proud of.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. But you said earlier that you had some guilt for your actions that happened this past week. Um, and if you want to keep pursuing a relationship with Jake, how do you think this might impact that feeling of guilt that you have?
Um, I feel like yes, it'll still be there and I'll feel guilty, but with the way that the relationship was going and how badly I was being treated, I kind of just feel numb to the whole situation. It's hard for me to feel that feeling of wanting to continue to provide for my husband and show him all this love and affection when I'm not getting that back. So I I do feel guilty, but at the same time, I feel like we're kind of he treats me bad, and so if I I don't know, I feel bad about saying this, but it I don't think he needs to know.
So, what I'm hearing is that you plan to continue a relationship with Jake while continuing to be in a marriage with your husband?
I want to try to find a way to end things with my husband, but I don't want it to be my fault.
Okay.
I feel like
Um,
something big needs to happen so that I can finally cut it off. But until then, I don't want to lose Jake.
I understand. That's a really tough situation to be in. Um, do you think maybe there's a way that you could kind of brainstorm with me a way that we could go about working on our communication skills? Because that was, again, another goal for us in the past. We could improve those communication skills. Maybe we could come up with a way to communicate with your husband what's really going on, um, and see if we could find a more efficient solution than waiting for something big to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that'd be good. I know we've been working on communication, but it's hard for either of to say to either of them. I mean, I feel more open and able to talk to Jake, but I'm afraid if I tell him that I'm scared to leave my marriage, he's not going to want to hang out with me or talk to me anymore. And then that will potentially just fall apart. And I'm afraid to lose him, but if I tell my husband that I'm not in love with him anymore and that I want to split ways, then I feel like he's going to get angry and take the children. And so I feel like I'm scared either way I make any move, it'll kind of blow up in my face.
Yeah, that's really, really tough to be in that situation and have to make those choices. I'm really sorry that you're going through this right now, Marilyn. That sounds really scary to be in that situation. Let me take this time to ask you, how has the mindfulness activity been going for you?
It's been going all right. Uh, After all of this, I kind of just not gave up, but I wasn't doing a lot of it as I should be.
Yeah, I think maybe engaging in those mindfulness activities a little bit more frequently might help you balance and, you know, really come to terms with taking care of yourself and seeing what it is that you might really want in the future. Would you be willing to try to engage in some of those mindfulness activities more frequently?
Yeah.
Great, great. So we are getting close to our time. Is there anything else that you wanted to cover before we move into our goal setting?
No, I think I'm okay.
Okay, excellent. Well, let's set a few goals if you're all right with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we've discussed definitely trying to engage in those mindfulness activities. Um, if it would be easier for you and you need something to be accountable for, I could send over a chart. A lot of my clients use this chart. It basically has a tally mark for every time that you engage in one of these mindfulness activities throughout the day. It's a bit like a calendar. Do you think that you'd be willing to give that a try?
Yeah, I think that'll be easier for me to schedule it out and not forget.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I've heard a lot of really good things from my clients that use it, and it seems to be really helpful in that
Mm.
regard. Excuse me. Um, how about another goal? What do you think we could maybe think about?
I definitely want to start going to the meetings more. I feel like after that one mistake, I should probably go at least once a week, if not more, because those were really starting to help.
How often were you attending these meetings and support groups prior to your mistake?
Um, I would say about once every week in the beginning when it was going really well, and then it kind of tapered off. So maybe once every almost 2 weeks.
Okay.
So I want to get back on track with that.
That's excellent. That's a really great goal. Um, Again, we could make another chart. It's similar to your mindfulness activity to kind of keep you accountable for actually going to those meetings.
Mhm.
How many times a week do you think you would want to go?
Um, at least one, maybe two if I can figure out my schedule.
Okay. We could do we could do a bi-weekly schedule. So once for 1 week and then twice for the next week, then once.
I think that'd be a great idea, especially with all this new stress that's going on. I want to make sure that I'm going more frequently.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. And then how about we come up with just one more goal? Um, what do you think you'd like to work toward?
Um, I do think I need to get all of this sorted. The way things are right now, it's a little messy. So I feel like I want the last goal to kind of focus on how to resolve at least a little bit of this issue. Maybe something with communication.
Okay, continuing that communication goal. I
Mhm.
think that's a really great one. It can be applied to so many aspects of your life. Um, Making sure that you're hearing the other person as well as being heard.
Mhm.
I think that's a really great idea. Um, if you still have those resources I sent you previously, definitely refer back to those, and I can send you some more on effective communication strategies. Um, well, Marilyn, it seems like you've made a lot of progress. There was that one session that you did not arrive to. So maybe another goal would be to make sure that you're attending all of your sessions here.
Mhm.
As long as you think that our sessions are being helpful and beneficial, I think it's a good idea to make sure that we prioritize that time to show up for yourself.
Mhm. I agree.
Excellent. So, with that, that is our time. And is there anything else you wanted to cover?
No, I'm good.
Excellent. So, Marilyn, I would love if you would schedule with me again if you feel these sessions are helpful. And if that's the case, we'll see you next time.
All right.
Have a good day.
You too.
Thank you, Marilyn.